I think we're going to slow down the expansion because we want to do this right. So we're going to add 2 to 4 teams next year, go up to 14 or 16 teams. And we're going to do that every year until, like you said, we want a team in almost every city. And if you watch the top 4 sports, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, they all have around 32 teams. That's where we want to get to, 32 teams across the country. That we're just going to have more star celebrities who play other sports coming into pickleball sooner or later. And also, as you know, I don't know if you know that, but Vince Vaughn, the actor, bought the majority stake in our Coachella Valley team just a month ago.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of the 0 Start podcast, brought to you by JustPaddles. Today, we got a fun one. I'm excited to talk to Michael Chen, co-founder of the NPL. And I'm going to let you talk about everything NPL because I don't want to say something that's not accurate or not give the appropriate excitement because I love the NPL. I think what you guys are doing is awesome. But I do appreciate you joining us today, Michael.
Great. Thank you so much, Ben. I look forward to having a great conversation with you about the National Pickleball League, which is what the NPL is all about.
Yeah, and we are big fans of the NPL. You actually are we had Daryl on here from the Kansas City Stingers a few months ago. So I know he's not affiliated with the NPL as much, but he's an NPL player
and
right?
an owner. So, he's also a co-owner of the Kansas City Stingers. So
how dare I?
Right.
I don't even want to see him again. Now he's gonna trip my feet out from under me for saying that. But he was fantastic. Right. So let's talk about it. Co-founder of the NPL. Tell me a little bit about that. How did the NPL come to play? And then, if you will, explain a little bit about what the NPL is, because I know you guys are in your second year. You're still getting out there, but I see this thing getting ready to explode. Tell us about why the NPL is unique.
That's a great question, Ben. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm excited to talk about NPL, like I said, which is the National Pickleball League. National Pickleball League really is the professional league for people over the age of 50. We call people over the age of 50 champion pros instead of senior pros. It sounds better, champion pros. And we're exactly what the MLP is as far as a league, but for people over the age of 50. And MLP started, as you know, in 2021. We started a year later at the end of 2022. And our vision was to create a league where professional pickleball players over the age of 50 can play and get together. And the reason we want to do that is because, as you know, pickleball was started by people over the age of 50. And a lot of the great players, the Hall of Famers like Scott Moore, Jen Dawson, they're all over the age of 50, and they play in our league. And I felt like in 2022, me along with my co-partners, Rick Witskin, I call him Rick Witskin, who's also the uncle of Ben Shelton, if you didn't know that, as well as Beth Bellamy. The three of us decided that, there's so much focus back in 2022 between MLP, PPA, APP, and they're all fighting for the young pros, Ben Johns and Ann Lee Waters and all those Tyson McGuffin, that the champion pro crowd was getting lost. And we felt like we needed to create our own home to put visibility on champion pros. So in the end of 2022, we said, we want to start our own event. Now, I thought that having another tour for champion pros didn't make sense. There's just too many tours out there, right? But I thought there's only one league, MLP, and they were focused on the young pros. Then why not start a league, and build it around communities? And that's why we started called National Pickleball League. And in 2022, the one thing we also want to do, there's 3 reasons we want to do that. One, we want to create a purpose and hope for people over the age of 50 for physical health, mental health, but also create a community. Like pickleball is such a great place for a community to get together. And what a great place for 50-year-olds who maybe their kids are all grown up, they're empty nesters, or they're retired from their main job. What a place for them to get together and make new friends. And so that was the initial goal of creating the National Pickleball League back in 2022.
But I not only make new friends and do all those like awesome things that you say, but the one thing that I miss is competing, and then competing as a team. I've like sung the praises of the MLP multiple times, but that's why I love the NPL too. Is like pickleball is an amazing sport, and I have 3 boys, so like raising them to play individual sports, I think is so important. because you can't count on anybody. Did you prepare? Well, that's why you failed, right? When it's getting hard on the court, you're going to have to deal with it. The ref made a bad call or your opponent's cheating you, figure it out. There's nobody you can rely on other than yourself. I think that's an important life lesson. But what I love about pickleball too is like now there's a team aspect to it.
That's
now,
right.
like, because I think that's equally as important as like, can you work with your team? Can you be the captain of different personalities? And then what I think makes the NPL just like so ready to just blow up to the next level is, and you mentioned it, is 50 plus.
Yep.
There are a million really strong 50 plus players out there that could play in the NPL. I feel like could play in the NPL because
So
I
many.
play 50 plus players down the road and they're incredible athletes. And they were, oh, I played D1 tennis, or, I was this and that. And they're still incredible athletes.
That's right. That's right. First of all, I believe it or not, I was a wrestler when I grew up. So as a wrestler, it's you against the other person. There's nobody there to help you. So I played that individual sport. But after that, all I did was play team sports. I love the team aspect. I played softball, baseball. I coached my kids in basketball, football. Just that team camaraderie where you build those friendships, the community, and you relive those experiences with one another is something that I always felt was special. Not only for myself, but I have 4 boys too, but for my 4 boys that I taught and coached them on those sports. And I miss that because my kids are all grown now. They're all out of college. I'm an empty nester. And I'm like, I go play in these senior pro tournaments. I was in the beginning. And I'm not not like Beth and Rick, which are the top players and they play all day. I could end up playing 2 matches and be done. I could lose the first match and lose the second. I'm out. I'm like, what a loser. I lose 2 matches. Nobody cares about me. I'm Saturday, like the matches start at 8. I'm done at 10:30 and I'm watching Saturday afternoon football, NFL football in my hotel room. Like, that's not what I call a pickleball experience. I want to get better. And sometimes I do well, which is great, but I want the feeling of like if I lose a match, my partners, my teammates will pick me up and then I'm rooting for them. And the National Pickleball League does just that because you get to play Saturday morning, win or lose, you play Saturday afternoon, you play Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. And when you're not playing, you're rooting on your teammates and you're getting coached and cheered on by your teammates. Like Darryl Wyatt, he's really risen to the top. Like he's rooting for me. He's like cheering me on. Like other top players, David George, who I do a podcast with, is coaching me. Like, how good is that? And then I'm coaching some of the other top players because they need coaching too. So it's just a different atmosphere where all of a sudden you feel like this is your second family. Now that I'm empty nesters, I got my wife and me, but my second family now is all the people that I play with in the National Pickleball League. For that reason.
By the way, I didn't hear anything after the fact that you said you had 4 boys. That's crazy. I have 3. I can't imagine adding another one.
Yeah.
God bless you. Well done. I don't know how you managed that.
I don't know. It was my wife. My wife did all that, just so you know.
Mine too. Yeah, that's the only way we get through it.
That's right.
So the NPL right now, 12 teams.
Yep.
I could see there being an NPL team in every city across the country, right? And everyone that makes sense.
That's the goal.
What are the plans for expansion with the NPL? Is there, because I'm an Atlanta guy. We don't have an NPL team, but I guarantee
we got to get
have
one.
Some 50-year-olds that could make it happen.
We got to get a team in Atlanta, right? The first year we had 6 teams, right? 2 in Florida, Boca, Naples. We had as our first 2 teams because Florida's a hotbed for pickleball. But we also had a team in Oklahoma City, Indianapolis, Denver, and Austin. And then this year we expanded and we started touching the West Coast and the East Coast. We have one in Princeton on the East Coast. We have Seattle and Coachella Valley on the West Coast. And we added to the Midwest as well. We added a Houston team, which is very exciting, which is perfect. We added the Kansas City Stingers, and we added Columbus. So we have 12 teams now. So we went from 6 to 12. I think we're going to slow down the expansion because we want to do this right. So we're going to add 2 to 4 teams next year, go up to 14 or 16 teams. And we're going to do that every year until, like you said, we want a team in almost every city. And if you watch the top 4 sports, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, they all have around 32 teams. That's where we want to get to, 32 teams across the country. And the best news about slowing it down a little bit, because every time you sell a team, it's like an equity infusion. There's cash to fund your operations. And by doing this way and selling 2 to 4 teams a year, you could fund your operation for another 5 or 6 years, with cash by selling teams alone. And during that time, you could really build the infrastructure, have the game take off, and then really make the game sustainable. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do, is make the National Pickleball League sustainable and have a long runway to do this right, not worry about doing like fundraising every year. So that's why we're doing it. And the other thing is interesting, Ben. Like, I know you're not 50 yet, and I know there's a lot of 50-year-old tennis players that want to come to our league, right? You're way away from 50, I know.
Yeah, not even 10 years away, more than that.
Exactly, way away. But I talked to a lot of 44, 45-year-old players that I play with, and they play with a bunch of us. I play with 20-year-olds too, but I don't give them the speech. But they're saying they can't wait till they turn 50 because they want to get into the National Pickleball League. I'm like, I've never heard of
Don't ever say that again.
Yeah, some 44, 45-year-old that's saying I can't wait till I turn 50. Like, when else do you say that? Most people are like, oh my goodness, I'm going to turn 50 in a few years. These people can't wait. So not only have we inspired these people over 50 for another chance at playing competitive sports, another chance of fulfilling the dream of being a competitor, but these 40 to 44, 45, 47-year-olds are also training to become 50-year-old players in the National Pickleball League.
Yeah. And now I'll say it, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not within 10 years. I only have a few months to say that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, 35?
9.
Oh, 39. Okay.
Yeah, thank
you. You're getting close. You're getting close.
Very nice of you. But in today's world of health and fitness and nutrition and everything, it seems like it's continuing to get better, at least amongst athletes, right?
Yeah.
It's getting better and better and better and better. 50 is like the new 30. And there are so many good athletes that are 50 or 60 or even 70. So you guys could feel. I love that you're slowing the expansion down, because you got to do it right. You could blow up and then have a million logistical issues, and it's probably not the best idea. But just promise me that Atlanta is on the list.
We would love to. We would love to have Atlanta. So to the extent that you have someone that's very interested in having a team in Atlanta, I'd love to talk to them, because, like I said, the hotbed of pickleball is where we want to go, and technically, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, we don't have teams there yet because we're waiting. We want to get the places that are really grassroots built and have teams there. And I know when we have New York, Chicago, LA, and San Francisco, like, that's when we're all set. But we're trying to save that for the future years and really build it where the hotbed of pickleball is today. I'm telling you, Ben, having guys like Danny Werfel, who is, as you know, a Heisman Trophy winner for the NFL, seeing how he is playing our league and how he's gotten better during the season. When he started, he was probably like a pod 3 player, a really good pod 3 player. We have 3 pods. So unlike the Major League Pickleball, you can play in pod 1, pod 2, or pod 3, right? So we have 12 people play on a team, which is so exciting. You have 14 people roster, 7 men, 7 women, but 12 people play every weekend. And to see a guy like Danny Werfel, who has taken football to a high level by being a Heisman Trophy winner and playing in the NFL, but now to see him doing that in pickleball and seeing how he's taking his game from a pod 3 to, like, he's on the cusp of a pod 1 player. His record in the third game matches, if you go to 3 games, is a close match, right? He's got a great record in the league, but I think his third game record is like 16-2. What does that tell you? That tells you that he's mentally tough, and his team.
A gamer.
He's a gamer, and his team Denver. I've seen him coach and pump up his team Denver, and Denver is one of the top teams in the league. But to have guys like Danny Werfel who could say, I'm not into pickleball. Like, this is a tough guy that played football, played quarterback, and for him to be into pickleball, it just tells me that we're just going to have more star celebrities who play other sports coming into pickleball sooner or later. And also, as you know, I don't know if you know that, but Vince Vaughn, the actor, bought the majority stake in our Coachella Valley team just a month ago. So now we have not only stars like Danny Werfel playing our league, we have celebrities saying, I want to own a team. And he owns a team in Coachella Valley. So I just think, as you said, that as we get more and more visibility, there's going to be more stars playing our league, more star fans owning teams in our league as well. And I hope someday Atlanta, sooner rather than later, has a team as well.
Well, me too. And that's congratulations on that, because that is like next level. That Vince Vaughn is involving himself in your organization. That means, I think that I don't want to say that legitimizes the NPL, but he saw a legitimate organization, or else there's no way he would have invested his time and
Absolutely.
money into that.
Yeah, and that's the key. He didn't just lend his name. He put money down. He paid for the majority share, and that's what's so exciting. And can you imagine if we got someone like Andre Agassi, who's been playing pickleball, or John McEnroe, who loves pickleball, playing our league? Like I'm telling these team owners, buy the team now, because you get an Agassi or a McEnroe or Michael Chang or Roderick, playing our league. Like the valuation is going to go through the roof, right? And maybe they're not ready today, but I'm confident that we're going to have celebrity stars, maybe a Tom Brady. I'm hoping for, we are going to get stars who played professionally when they were younger and just have that, like you said, that competitive hunger to play competitive sports again. And what a perfect place to have a second career in sports than the National Pickleball League.
And go back to your comment just a few minutes ago where you're like, oh, this guy's unbelievable, or this lady's unbelievable. I've never heard of her. She must have just started. No. Yeah, maybe you can't bust through a pro draw at the PPA. I get it. That's an elite of the elite crew to bust through. But 50 plus, you're one of the best players in the world. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. You know what's so weird about it? It's like people are changing their lives for pickleball. People are changing the way they eat, the way they train. I train harder now than I've ever trained in my life. Even when I was 20, I didn't train this hard. I'm training every day to get physically in shape, mentally in shape, not only just playing pickleball, but eating healthy. My wife is like, what are you going on? You never wanted to eat healthy. You used to always want to go out and eat fast foods. I was like, yeah, I did, because I didn't care, but now I care. I don't want to eat fast food, anymore. I want to have a good diet so I can stay fit and compete with these young kids, these young guys and girls. Because I'm over 60. I'm actually a Masters pro. If you're over 60, you're a Masters pro, and I'm hanging on. I said, I don't know how many more years I can hang on to play in the National Pickleball League, but 1, 2, 3, 4 years, I'll take whatever I can get. So I'm training hard to compete against people 10 years younger than me. And so far, I'm hanging on. I'm not doing great, but I'm hanging on. I'm doing okay. I'm in pot 3, and I have about a 50% winning record. So a 50% winning record for me says I still can hang on.
Hey, that's awesome. You are hanging on. That to what you said though, like that's life changing, right? Like I'm sure you were healthy and everything great before when you were just playing pickleball, but when you're part of that team, when you are, you have something to look forward to, it changes so many aspects of your life. That's what I love about the NPL is it goes from playing recreational pickleball, which I love, and obviously gets your competitive juices out, but it is next level when, oh no, now I'm part of a team. Now my training is taken more seriously. My nutrition is taken more. I'm going to bed, earlier. I'm not watching the Bears lose at midnight, on Sunday night. Yeah. So it could be a life-changing organization for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, I play on the Kansas City Stingers. I've become close friends with our 14 players on the team. We rented an Airbnb. Instead of staying in a hotel, we rented an Airbnb. Ben, let me tell you, the last time I had roommates other than my wife was probably 30 years ago. I shared a hotel room with David George, my podcast partner. I've never shared a hotel room, with anyone but my wife. Then I took the next step and I shared an Airbnb with 8 other people. The 9 of us, we go check in Thursday night. We're buying groceries Friday. We're practicing Friday afternoon. Friday night, National Pickleball League, every Friday night before the competition starts on Saturday and Sunday, we have a big party that gets everyone together, all 200 professional players from the 12 teams. And the theme party was like Texas, one-step night. So we were doing the Texas line dance and people were dressing up. It's like, I don't remember dressing up. And, we had an 80s party the last time before. I don't remember dressing up for 30 years. So we do that
since
Friday
the 80s.
Night. Yeah, since the 80s, correct. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're like beating each other's brains off, battling against the other teams, but in a friendly way because we're all part of the same community. So there's none of these screaming and arguing going on Saturday and Sunday. Can't say none. Maybe there's 1 or 2, but we kind of tone them down. But generally, people are having a really great time Saturday and Sunday. We all want to win, but we all shake hands and hug afterwards. And then we hang out Saturday night. We have a good dinner. Sunday, the competition is over. We're all exhausted, you would think. But then Sunday night, we had a pool party with our team. That we pool party. The weekend was over. We pool party to the wee hours of night. And then we said goodbye Monday. Like, holy cow, like all my friends now. Like I've had many friends from many different groups, from work, from my kids, friends, parents, from my nonprofit. Like, I think I've lost 90% of my friends and replaced them with all pickleball friends. It's bizarre. Like, in a span of 2 years, I've changed over all my friends. If you don't play pickleball, I have a hard
I
time
ain't got time for
socializing with
you.
you. Right? It's kind of weird, but it's kind of like, that's the community. That's the new community. Some people call it a cult. I call it just a new way of life. Is the pickleball way of life.
Well, it's a good crew to be around, no doubt about that. It is a infectious crew. It's addicting, and if I always say, it's like, if my friends want to drag me out to go do a physical activity and compete, that's a good friend, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good place to be if that's what they want to do.
I just had a
So
pickleball party. Just one last thing. I had a pickleball party like 2 weeks ago, the end of summer pickleball party at my house, right? And they were a lot of my friends, and they were Jack and Jill. It was like men and women, and there were people like 65 years of age, and like 4 20-year-old kids at my party. I look back and it says, when else would 4 20-year-old kids be hanging out drinking with some 60-year-old guy? When would my wife allow me to have female friends at a Jack and Jill party that she really doesn't know, other than through pickleball? And she had the same thing. So we had a joint party. She had her friends over. She had her Jack and Jill friends. They play at a different level. They're probably like 3-5 to 4-0, but we all mixed together.
Sure.
It was the most bizarre party where we had 20-year-olds, 60-year-olds, men and women, men that I didn't know, women that she didn't know, but we're all having a great time, eating, drinking, laughing, and just, hugging it out, talking about pickleball. Like, that's what pickleball has done
awesome.
that no other sport I played in has ever done for me before.
Like you said, that's an MPL thing, but it's more importantly, that seems like a pickleball thing.
It's
for
a
sure.
pickleball
That
thing.
just it is a community. It is a lifestyle.
Right. That's a good word. It's a lifestyle.
Well, Michael, I looked at the rankings. You're a member of the Kansas City Stingers.
Yeah.
JustPaddles is located in Kansas City, so we have one team that we root for more than others.
There we go. I'm glad you were rooting for the right team.
6th place, though. There's 12 teams. We're right in the middle of the pack.
We are, but we're going to peak for the playoffs. That's a saying I've always told my kids. It's not how you start the season. It's how you end the season. And I coached platform tennis where we had the same thing. We had line 1, line 2, and line 3. And during the whole regular season, I'm mixing and matching and having different people play just to find the right combination. But I said, all that doesn't matter. What matters is how you finish. And so I think our team with Darryl White, like I said, he started off, he's like Danny Werfel too. He started off in the beginning of the season more like a pod 3 player. Now he's dominating pod 1. He's winning with David George. He's carrying my podcast partner, David George, and winning pod 1 against legendary pod 1 players. He's beating legendary pod 1 players, Stefan Andren. He's beating John Sperling. I'm watching an incredible match, and they're great players. Like, I'm looking at that, and there's other people he's beating, like Dave Weinbach. I'm like, holy cow, this guy just picked up pickle along just about a year ago. So I can't wait to see Darryl and David and Saad and my teammates play in the playoffs against the very best pickleball player. And I'm telling you, Darryl White is going to be among the best ever to play pickleball. And he's on my team, which is good.
Yeah, well, a good team captain pumps up their team. So, and you just did that well.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So, and look, in October, there's going to be over $100,000 on the line. And, it's like it's not winner takes all because we give prize money for the other places, but it's one and out. If you lose your match, you don't get to come back. In pickleball, sometimes you can come back from the loser's bracket. You get one chance. If you're knocked out, you can go for 3rd place or 5th place or 7th place, but that you have to be focused on every single match. And I'll tell you, the Boca Raton Picklers, who finished first, and they beat the Houston Hammers last weekend to go from 2nd to 1st, their mayor called them up at dinner after they came in first and congratulated them at dinner time, the mayor of Boca. So the mayor of Boca has now seen what the National Pickleball League.
I love that.
And he says, on behalf of the 103,000 residents of Boca, congratulations to the Boca Raton Picklers. And so I interviewed in our podcast called Everything in the Kitchen Dink. I interviewed the owner of Boca, Carl Foster, and he says, oh, the mayor's going to throw us a ticker tape parade. And all I said to him, I says, you just won the regular season. What if you get knocked off by the Kansas City Stingers or some other team before you win the championship? are you going to still have the parade? And he was like, well, we'll see about that. So it's not over yet. It's all I'm going to say, Ben. Boca, look out. Houston Hammers, look out. There's some stingers coming your way.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that. We'll be sure to tag them in this one so they see it and it builds the rivalry.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to say about Danny Werfel. I played against Danny Werfel in a match, and he won. I won the first game. He won the second game. I'm like, I got to beat Danny Werfel. I can see I beat my Heisman Trophy winner. He played in that third game. And that's why I know why he went 6-2. I don't think he missed a shot in the third game, and he beat me in the third game. So I came very close to saying I beat Danny Werfel, the Heisman Trophy winner in pickleball. But at least I can say I took a game away from him. So at least I got maybe a Pyrrhic victory there.
That's a small victory. You'll take it.
Small victory,
and you guys will probably run into each other again at some point, and we can we'll all be watching.
Yeah. I'm hoping I get a second chance, but he's going to be tough to beat, as I want to say.
Well, so how does someone get involved? Do we want, like, I know you guys do something unique with the combine. How does someone who's feels like they're top of their game, they're 50 plus, they totally qualify in all the categories, how does someone get involved in trying to make an NPL team?
So no, that's a great question. So we're just starting the process here in September of looking for expansion teams that are right fit. And we're not going to auction off these teams. We're just going to pick 2 to 4 teams that are right fit. And we plan to get that process done by the end of this year, early next year. And then early next year, the tryouts start. So we have a combine. We call it combine, like the NFL combine, where people come out and try out. And people's in March. And people are like, well, what do I have to do? The 40-yard dash, the high jump? I want to get ready for that. No. Yeah. It's not like the NFL combine where checking your jumping, your speed, and your vertical reach, and your long jump. No, you just play round robin pickleball. We want to see how you do in a pickleball. Not only how well you play, but how well you play with your teammate, what's your sportsmanship-like attitude, because we want people with the right attitude too. Like that are good players that have the quality of integrity and sportsmanship and fun and loving the game. So that happens in March, and we'll probably do it in at least 2 places, maybe somewhere on the East Coast and maybe somewhere on the West Coast. So that's when they come out. They sign up, they try out for the combine. But we might even have this year, because there's so much demand for it that we're sold out last year, we might even have regional pre-combine combines where you try out in your region, and if you do well in your region, then you get an automatic invite to the real combine. And then if you do well in the real combine in April, we actually do a draft. You sign up for the draft. And this year we had about 350 to almost 400 players signed up, but we only could take about 188 to 200 players. So not everyone that signs to the draft gets drafted, but at least with the combine, you get noticed by all these owners, these 16 owners, and we have 16 teams, and then you have a chance of getting drafted. So that's the goal, is to start training, go for the combine or the pre-combine regional combine, and hopefully get drafted. And then we'll see. And so April's a draft, and the season is from May through September, the regular season, and then the championships are in October, which, by the way, this year, I think a big news broadcasting group that did us last year, CBS Sports, I do believe we'll be having them be filming our championships this year as well.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. So for everybody 50 plus, I was going to say 49 turning 50 in the next 5 months. You got 5 months. You got 5 months before the combine. So turn it on now. That's your training camp starts now.
Right. There's one guy that said to me, how do I start getting ready for the combine? So, well, don't worry, it's till March. He goes, I want to start training. Can you help me train? And I'm like, I help you train if you help me stay young so that I can drill too. So we're going to start training together to get ready for next year, starting next week.
That's a, what do they call that? A symbiotic relationship? Yeah. Is that what it is?
Something symbiotic. That's it. It goes both ways, right?
Yeah. You're right.
Well, that's what the NPL is all about. We want to give and get. And really, like, I was going to go to retire, Ben. I started the National Pickleball League, not because I want to try to hit a home run financially from it. I was about to actually retire. I want to do something to give back to the game of sports, which has been a big part of my life. And I want to create something special for people at age of 50 and over. And if I can help change people's lives, and Rick and Beth feels the same way, we can help change people's lives for the better. And a lot of people might not even make the National Pickleball League. But if we can give them hope, and they train, and they get physical health, and they get a mental health better, and they become part of the community, and even if they don't make the National Pickleball League, we've changed their lives as well. So we're looking to change not only the professional people's lives, but just change a lot of people's lives through the game of pickleball by giving them hope.
I love that. That's pretty cool. And you already did it to 200 people. And then, like you said, so many more that are aspiring to make it
Right.
and training hard and changing their lifestyle because
Yeah.
of it. But I love the NPL. I can't wait to see you guys grow. I hope
Thank
you
you.
expand to Atlanta. I don't know if when Atlanta plays Kansas City, I can't, I don't know what I'm gonna do because JustPaddles is in Kansas City, but I live in Atlanta. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But
Well,
we're excited to see.
we'll work to get a team together, you and I, to get an Atlanta franchise. How's that? We'll get a team in Atlanta sooner or later together, and we'll
Let me
see.
check my pockets, Michael. There, do you take IOUs?
No, I think if you
Well,
spread
Michael,
the word,
thanks.
I
There you
think
go,
I'm
Michael. We'll
sure
definitely
there'll be people in Atlanta that'll be interested.
100%. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll all be watching the rest of the MPL. We're excited for the playoffs in October, the expansion to 2 or 4 more teams next year, the combine in March. Things are going awesome. We can't wait to see the growth. Unlike those people that mentioned it earlier, I am not racing to 50, but when
Good.
I do, I hope you give me a nod on the Kansas City Stingers.
You will absolutely get every chance to be on the Kansas City Stinger. You seem like a fun guy, a guy that loves pickleball, a person that loves life. And as long as you'll share an Airbnb with the rest of our teammates and
You got
help
it.
cook breakfast, you're all in.
My house is like an Airbnb anyway, with all the people running around in it. So I don't even so that it would be like in my comfort zone. A hotel room by myself would feel eerie and weird.
There we go. All right. Well, you got it. We're saving your space for 11 years from now or 10 years from now, whatever it is. We'll save you your space, Ben.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. All
All
right,
right.
Michael. Thanks for your time. Good luck this season. Good luck with your training and nutrition and everything. We'll be rooting for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And all I just want to say is thank you to all our sponsors. I won't name them all, but I do want to give a big shout out to Gamma, the official ball of the NPL. Without them, we couldn't do it. And also the paddle sponsor that we have is Gearbox. But we have lots of other sponsors, but I just want to give a shout out to those two in the paddle arena, in the pickleball arena.
That's great.
All right.
Thanks so much, Michael.
Well, thank you so much. You have a great day.